It's 1997 and life couldn't be better. It's your birthday and you're living it up. You and 24 of your best friends are having a blast at the arcade, competing for the high score in skee ball. Your little brother is going nuts in the ball pit, which means he's not annoying you. Pretty soon you'll be eating pizza and watching a show from the coolest robots you've ever seen. And then it's time for presents. Where is this birthday wonderland? Why, where else but Chuck E. Cheese, of course? It's the place where good times never end. Or so it seems, because today, the home of the singing animal band definitely isn't what it used to be. Find out why on this episode of The Infographics Show, why Chuck E. Cheese is failing. How did Chuck E. Cheese go downhill? To find out, we've got to look at how it got so big. And it all comes down to one thing: birthday parties. These have been a beloved childhood tradition for the better part of a century, and like everything else, it tends to get bigger as it goes on. What started out as a little gathering for a family with a box cake and a special meal soon turned into the entire school class coming over to celebrate and bringing presents. And that meant more work for mom and dad. Well, usually mom. Those kids need to be fed, and the party games need to be put together, and the place needs to be decorated. Let's face it all could get a little overwhelming, which led to the rise of the Party Palace. The idea of a dedicated place for birthday parties was a long time coming. By the 80s, many places were offering party packages. Restaurants and fast food places, community centers, gym clubs, bowling alleys, and roller rinks were all popular spots. But none of them were designed for the party game. The Party Palace was a combination of just about everything a kid could want. A one-stop wonderland packed with everything a kid could dream of: an arcade, a ball pit, and a steady supply of pizza. But the original business would have a little something extra from an unexpected source, because Chuck E. Cheese wasn't the first innovation from its famous founder. Nolan Bushnell was a very rich man because he helped to invent video games. He was the co-founder of Atari, the very first home video game console company, and he had experience working in the amusement park industry as well. He had watched the world of arcades grow, but most of the current businesses were geared toward older gamers. He wanted to create a place where families could come and have fun in a safe environment, and kids could discover video games for the first time. And to do that, he went back to his theme park roots. The big innovation for the business, then known as Pizza Time Theater, was a set of audio animatronics, singing robots covered in felt to resemble funny animals. And at the center would be the company's mascot, Charles Entertainment Cheese, more commonly known as Chuck E. Cheese. The singing mouse was the master of the ceremonies, the lead singer, and the friendly face that would greet guests. After all, kids love talking mice, right? But from the start, there was trouble. Bushnell had initially planned to have the mascot be a coyote, but was shipped a rat costume instead. So he came up with the name Chuck E. Cheese after Rick Rat was deemed not marketable. But the business would run into trouble from the start. The first Chuck E. Cheese Pizza Time Theater opened in San Jose in 1977, originally under the Atari partnership with Warner Communications. But when the parent company wasn't impressed, Bushnell doubled down. He bought out the rights to his new concept for $500,000 and started opening new locations across California and Nevada. It didn't take long before Bushnell had competition. Showbiz Pizza entered the scene, founded by one of his rivals. A legal battle followed and Bushnell came out with a share of the rights. But just as things seemed to be gaining steam, the 1983 video game market crash hit hard, resulting in bankruptcy the next year. And he would face the ultimate indignity. Chuck E. Cheese's was purchased by Showbiz Pizza Time Inc., merging the two companies. But as Bushnell already had a stake in his former rival, it was a natural partnership. At first, the two brands coexisted, but as the 80s made way for the 90s, it was clear which was the stronger brand. Eventually, the former Showbiz location started rebranding to Chuck E. Cheese's Pizza, and by 1994, the conversion was complete. Bushnell's concept had a rocky start, but it had become the ultimate powerhouse in kids' entertainment. Now it would have to stay there. The 1990s was a boom time for party places, as countless new franchises opened. Some, like Razzmatazz in New Jersey, basically copied Chuck E. Cheese's model, but with a different vibe, a jazz-oriented audio animatronic show that may have flown a little over kids' heads. Others, like Discovery Zone, shifted the focus entirely, centering the entertainment around a massive jungle gym packed with slides and nets for kids to explore. But pretty soon, the market became saturated. Many of the new chains and businesses either outright failed or slowly declined. And Chuck E. Cheese didn't just survive, it thrived. By the mid-90s, it was the place to go for kids' birthday parties. The singing mouse and his band of colorful characters, which included a human chef for some reason, had starred in animated movies and TV specials. Every location had largely become a similar recognizable spot. There was the collection of arcade games, the ball pit, the simple menu of pizza and other kid-friendly treats, and of course, the stage featuring the famous characters. While the big money was in the birthday parties, the place was always open to the public, with families frequently coming there for some brief play and a meal. It seemed like a total juggernaut in the world of kids' entertainment. So, how did it all go wrong? Today, Chuck E. Cheese is still around, although it has a far smaller number of locations than it did at its peak, with 621 locations worldwide, including over 450 in the United States alone. It's still the dominant name in its field of kid-friendly restaurants. But trouble is brewing under the surface. The wildly popular chain has almost become more of a punchline than a party in some circles, associated not with childhood fun, but with poor food, outdated games, and questionable customer service. Is it fair, or is it just a case of people turning on an old favorite? It's complicated, but there are a lot of reasons that sent Chuck E. Cheese into a downward spiral. From the start, there was one big difference between Chuck E. Cheese and its rival Showbiz Pizza. Showbiz's team saw itself as a serious pizzeria with an arcade and an audio animatronic show as a bonus. Meanwhile, Chuck E. Cheese saw itself as a destination for fun first and food second. So it didn't put too much effort into its menu, and it showed. For a long time, it was just cheese pizza and pepperoni pizza, which kids were happy with. However, the company eventually started adding other options like wings, french fries, meatballs, and fancier pizzas for the grown-ups. But that doesn't mean that they can hold up to the competition. Pizza is one of the most fiercely competitive markets in the US. Just about every neighborhood has an old-school pizzeria and at least one modern spot. And that is before you mention the massive fast food chains like Domino's and Pizza Hut. The pizza at Chuck E. Cheese is just considered okay, reminding many people of how frozen, mass-produced pizza tastes, to which the company would argue that no one comes here for the food. But that still hasn't stopped them from trying to gain attention from new food options over the years. The addition of the grown-up menu helped things, with past additions like deli sandwiches, but few stuck around. But trying to appeal to adults would bring another issue to the table. If you asked people to describe Chuck E. Cheese, they would probably say family-friendly. Every child who walks through the doors is bringing at least one adult with them, and they have to be kept entertained as well. Some Chuck E. Cheeses even offered beer and wine, but drunk adults tend to become a little rowdy, and that's led to maybe the biggest PR problem Chuck E. Cheese has. It's become shorthand for a chaotic place filled with rowdy kids and sometimes even rowdier adults. And over the years, Chuck E. Cheese has tended to wind up in the news for the wrong reasons. For kids, the business seems like heaven on earth, but from an outsider's perspective, it seems like chaos waiting to happen. It's packed with adrenaline-pumping activities for kids, and they're generally let loose to have fun for the duration while mom and dad try to keep busy. The result is fights, lots of them. There have been many stories about older kids trying to steal tokens from younger kids, bumping them out of the way of games, plowing them over in the ball pit. Many protective parents might be hesitant about bringing young kids there, but that is nothing compared to what the parents get up to. Parents Gone Wild is a popular genre of Chuck E. Cheese videos, with many resulting in arrests. One of the most infamous cases involve a scam artist dad using kids to steal purses around the restaurant. Then there was the skee ball showdown, where two women got into a full-blown fight after one of them reportedly pushed the other's toddler out of the way. But that is nothing compared to the massive brawl that erupted at a Pennsylvania Chuck E. Cheese in 2016. An argument between the mother of a one-year-old child and the father's new girlfriend quickly escalated into a fight, and before long it turned into a full-blown fist fight involving nearly 50 people outside of the restaurant. And the man himself isn't above getting in trouble. The parent company has been cited multiple times for child labor violations, paying a fine of $28,000 for violations in San Francisco. But don't worry, lost kids aren't put to work inside animatronics. The violations stem from teenagers being used to do tasks that they're not legally allowed to do, using machines that are deemed too dangerous. While the parent company has reportedly cleaned up its act, it's still not a headline anyone wants to see about their company. But that is nothing compared to the biggest challenge Chuck E. Cheese faced: staying cool. Most companies aim for the broadest audience possible, hoping to grow with their customers over time, offering new products or experiences as kids get older, and keeping families engaged at every stage. But while Chuck E. Cheese continues to be popular with elementary school-age kids, it's still pretty much a dead brand as soon as they get older. Arcades are still popular, but most of those kids will usually choose to go somewhere like Dave & Buster's. They want more mature entertainment that lets them brutalize their opponent in a fighting game. And all these problems would come home to roost in a big way. In the 2000s, the company wasn't exactly thriving anymore, but it was certainly surviving. It had tried to make its mascot appear cooler by giving him a new voice actor in the form of the frontman for Bowling for Soup, as well as a slimmer design. Then in 2014, they were sold to Apollo Global Management for $1.3 billion. They began testing new concepts aimed at appealing to adults and teens. In 2019, they went live on the New York Stock Exchange in what they hoped would be a bold new start for the company. But 2020 had other plans. COVID-19 hit just about every business like a truck, but none more so than Chuck E. Cheese. Many thought that it would spell the end of the franchise like it did for the soup and salad buffet Soup Plantation. For one thing, the company's immediate bread and butter was cut out from under it. No one was going to be hosting large birthday parties during the early days of the virus, and the pandemic made everyone think more seriously about sanitation. And suddenly, that ball pit and all those arcade games touched by hundreds of kids each day looked a lot less appealing. The company needed to stay alive, so it tried something unconventional. It was mid-2020, and one of the most embarrassing affairs in Chuck E. Cheese history was about to unfold. The pandemic had closed dine-in restaurants almost everywhere, so many restaurants were pivoting to delivery to keep their doors opening. This was a massive boon to delivery apps like DoorDash, Uber Eats, and Grubhub, and users saw a new business when searching local businesses: Pasquale's Pizza and Wings, a simple menu offering, you guessed it, at an affordable price. Many people took the swing and got their food. It wasn't very good, but it was satisfying enough, and to many people oddly familiar. Internet sleuths were soon on the case. It took some digging, but people soon discovered that the company behind Pasquale's was none other than Chuck E. Cheese. In fact, the name comes from Pasquale P. Pieplate, the human chef who's a member of the audio animatronic brand from the famous stage show. Eventually, the social media pressure on Chuck E. Cheese became too much. After all, people had a lot of time on their hands, and the company admitted that they were behind the new ghost kitchen business. They claimed the menu used some different recipes that would appeal more to adults, but many people remained skeptical. It all came together into a disaster, and the inevitable happened. By summer of 2020, the company's finances were in serious trouble, and they soon announced a Chapter 11 bankruptcy filing on June 24th. The process would last a little over 6 months, with the bankruptcy cases being settled. But what emerged was a very different company. It was clear that the business model for Chuck E. Cheese wasn't working anymore. The new management knew that in order to avoid going out of business for good, they would have to make some major changes. And some would say those changes cut out the very soul of Chuck E. Cheese. The most iconic feature of Chuck E. Cheese has been the audio animatronic band known as Munch's Make-Believe Band and fronted by the famous mouse. But audio animatronics are expensive and difficult to maintain, and Chuck E. Cheese doesn't exactly have Disney money. For a long time, it was common to see audio animatronics only half working, as was immortalized on an episode of The Simpsons. One independent restaurant, Billy Bob's Wonderland in West Virginia, is known for its incredibly run-down set of Showbiz Pizza audio animatronics, which are part of its charm. But that wouldn't fly at Chuck's, so the audio animatronics are being phased out entirely. If someone visits Chuck E. Cheese today, they might be shocked to see it seems like a shadow of its former self. The band is being replaced with a dance floor where the costumed actors will come and entertain the kids. This is all part of the company's pivot to more interactive activities, with some locations having new activity features like trampolines and even a Ninja Warrior-themed area that lets kids test their agility. And it's not the only company that's trying to enter the 2020s. The video arcade has changed a lot too. Instead of tokens and tickets, the business has gone the way of Dave & Buster's, with games being played with reloadable cards that also store their prize points. Many of the old-school games like skee-ball have also been replaced with modern screen-based games that resemble giant-sized versions of mobile games. It keeps the kids entertained, but many parents have said that the current incarnation lacks the charm of the one they remember. And when it comes to the food, Chuck E. Cheese is getting some outside help. The menu in many locations has a surprising entry these days: cake slices from Buddy Valastro, better known as the Cake Boss. The massive layer cakes are provided by the outside company and offer a way for the company to sell people an indulgent treat without having to make it in-house. And in 2024, the company partnered with Thrifty Ice Cream to sell their own brand of ice cream, which can be found at both Chuck E. Cheese locations and Rite Aids in Southern California. In all, the company has invested over $350 million in retooling the brand for a new generation. But it hasn't answered the biggest question the company has these days: who is it for? The company's brand with today's kids is getting smaller and smaller. While a new entertainment division launched in 2020, nothing in the way of new kids' entertainment has been released. Additionally, more and more families are cutting back on large-scale birthday parties, focusing on small get-togethers for family and close friends. That means that the people who feel the most strongly about Chuck E. Cheese are the millennials who grew up with it. And the company may just have a plan for that. You just can't walk into a Chuck E. Cheese as an adult to play some games and have some pizza. The locations usually don't allow unaccompanied adults inside. But in 2024, the parent company announced that they were launching a new game show that would feature adults competing in jumbo-sized versions of Chuck E. Cheese arcade games, including skee ball. And if it's a big enough hit, maybe it's time to start thinking about Chuck E. Cheese After Dark nights for the grown-ups. Did you grow up going to Chuck E. Cheese? What do you think really caused its downfall? Bad pizza, outdated games, or something else? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Want to know how an iconic coffee brand became a lifestyle and maybe flew a little too close to the sun? Check out the real reason Starbucks is failing. Or watch You Had No Idea Disney Owned This for a look into the secret holdings of that other famous mouse.